What's up, P Nation? Today's intro is probably a little sadder and more bleak than any that we've ever done before, because today is not going to be a fun day, but one day that we've been kind of looking forward to learning for a long time. So we are in Krakow right now, and we are going to the train station to go to
Auschwitz.
It's about a 2-hour ride, and we are going to the train station now. It's 5:25 in the morning, and we're a little tired, but we gotta make it on time.
We did it.
Okay, we made it on our train, and if you are not familiar with train travel in Europe, I wouldn't recommend you try and do this because it was very confusing, and the only reason we got here was because we kind of knew what we were doing, but everything's spelled differently. So anyways, we're here now, and how long we're on this train?
For like 2 hours. So it leaves at 6:15, we'll get there at 8:15. Hopefully we can get a free entry ticket into Auschwitz. They only have a limited amount, so hopefully we can get one.
Fingers crossed. Two hours later, we have made it. I'm already feeling super grim. We both watched different documentaries on Auschwitz, and it's like not gonna be a good day, but I need to see this, so we're here.
It'll be a good day. Just, it's gonna be a hard day.
It's gonna be a hard day. So we just took a city bus, which was very fun, and now we are walking about 15 minutes. We are budget travelers, so it's really weird because we're doing this by ourselves. Most people that do this thing are actually on a bus tour or with an actual tour or something else like that. So no one's around us, it's just us. But we're walking up to the camp reflecting on the documentaries we just watched, and it's gonna be very interesting.
A little eerie. So it's free to enter the grounds, but there's only a limited amount of people who are allowed to go in, and you have to get a ticket from the ticket office. And usually there are some leftover tickets. So we're here early trying to get a ticket, but we still don't know if we can actually enter.
Yeah, it opened at 7:30. We're probably gonna make it by 8:30, so
we'll see. We are inside, and we were just let in. Like, the security guard kind of like said hi, and then we asked him if we needed a ticket, and he said no. So.
And now we're walking on the tracks where they came in, and about to get super historical, so be prepared.
So I would just like to say, we are not trying to exploit Auschwitz in any way. We're just showing you our experience here and what we've learned.
Train cars that they came in, they would normally have 400 to 600 people having to stand in the train car. They fit as many people as possible in the train car, and there was no bathroom, and most of the times it would take 20 to 48 hours to actually get to Auschwitz. So if you were one of the few people that would make it off the train, you would then be greeted by all these people yelling at you in different languages, and you would be told to line up in lines, this huge area, and then you'd be inspected by 2 SS official officers that would deem you ready to work or ready to be exterminated. We're about to take you down the road that you would walk to the showers / the gas chambers. Okay, so this is the entryway you would walk through, not knowing what would happen to you. You probably don't speak the language. They're telling you you're going to take a shower, but you don't honestly know what's about to happen. Sorry, this is super graphic. This is not what I really wanted to be talking about right now, but this is why we came here. This is why you're watching this video. So behind me is where the crimes were committed and the gas chambers were located. Okay, so we'll start over here. So when you got off the train, you walked down that lane that I showed you all the way to these trees back here. You would wait in the shade of the trees with your families, because families with young children were immediately gone to be exterminated because they couldn't work in the fields. So you'd be waiting in these trees, and you would walk in this entrance right here, and this long corridor right here is the place where you would get undressed. So you're being told that you're getting undressed to take a shower. So you'd walk through this room, and you would go into this pit over here. The reason this is all destroyed now is because the Germans knew that they were committing crimes. So they destroyed this a month or 2 months before the Red Army got here. So this large room behind me, that is the extermination room. You would go in there, you'd be packed super close together. There were shower heads to make it look like you were going to take a shower. And then an SS troop would drop the gas from the top into the chamber, and it would take about 30 minutes before everyone in there was no longer alive. After that, they would send Jews in there, or SS troops, mostly Jews, to go collect the bodies. They would bring them into this room right here behind me. This is where they did inspections, or otherwise known as dissections. So they would take bodies that they thought they would need to look at for science purposes and dissect them. All the other ones were taken into the buildings that are kind of still standing. Those buildings were for burning the bodies after they were already exterminated. Okay, now after a brief time of pausing and reflecting, we are walking through the trees. We're following this tour group to, I think, another place, but I'm not sure. There's also a lot of construction going on because they're about to have the 75th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz. That'll be in January of 2020. So there's like half of the sites are closed off and the other half are partially open. So we're trying to show you as much as possible. So after getting unloaded off the train, if you were one of the lucky few to make it to the labor camps, you would first have to come to this building where they would disinfect you. Okay, so now we are in the undressing room where if you arrived, you would take off everything you owned, all your suitcases that you brought with you would be put aside and you would never see them again. All the jewelry in your pockets would be cleared out, everything you had was stripped away. You would be given back your clothes after they were disinfected. However, this process could take up to 12 hours and you have to stand outside waiting for your clothes to come back to you. So the way they cleaned all these clothes was by putting them in a sauna. So while your clothes were in the sauna, sometimes if there was enough room, you'd be able to stand inside for that 12 hours. And then the SS would come and look at prisoners again who couldn't hide their baby bumps anymore or any other imperfections they had. And they could then send you to the death camp if you didn't pass inspection. Okay, so this concrete room is where they shaved your hair off to make you look conspicuous if you escaped, and also they needed hair to make socks and other things for the war efforts. They'd shave your hair, and then you would be bald even if you're a woman. So now we have made it into the shower room where hundreds of people would be crowded in here, and the water would be ice cold or really hot. It wouldn't be in between, and then after you took a shower with no soap, keep in mind, you would be taken out of this room and then you'd be expected to dry off with no towel. And the room behind me is where you were issued your clothes and you were just in a state of awe because the people that you recognized before you came in, you don't recognize anymore. Everyone's bald, they're wearing basically prisoner clothing, you have no idea what happened to your family that was taken away from you just 30 minutes ago. It was a crazy sight to see. Also, I want to talk about who came here, because a lot of people think it was just Jewish believers. It wasn't just Jewish believers, it was Soviet Union soldiers, it was people that were captured from other places that were taken over by Nazi Germany. You didn't have to just be a Jew to come to Auschwitz.
Behind us here is Canada, or Canada 2. And they named it Canada because at the time, the country of Canada was like a very prosperous nation. So they called it that because here, after the unfortunate Jews that were exterminated in the gas chambers, all of their belongings would be sorted through by fellow Jews, and they would collect all of the money, all the valuables, all the jewelry that everyone kept with them, you know, trying to keep it safe because they had no idea where they were going. And so they would collect all of the valuables, and most of it was actually stolen by the SS.
Okay, so now we're going to finally talk about these eerie fences that are still here. So the fences are made of concrete, and as you can see, it's barbed wire. And what a lot of people don't know is it actually was electric back in the day. So some people would commit suicide very early on by running up to the fence, touching it, and then you would immediately die. That's how high the voltage was. And if you actually touched the person that was on the ground, you would also die. So a lot of people and the guards that even worked here would stay behind these barriers that are behind me as like a caution, like don't get too close or else you could be electrocuted. Okay, so a couple things. First, the chimneys behind me are where buildings used to stand, but they're made of wood, so they aren't here today. That's like 70 years later. And all the grass you see, in the documentary I watched, it said that there was no grass on the grounds because if there was a blade of grass, the people would eat it because they were so hungry. So this was all mud, there was no grass, this wasn't as nice to walk on. You had to walk in wooden shoes, and most of the times you get infection in your feet, and then you could die from that. So you had to be really careful about like walking in the mud with your wooden shoes that was supplied to you. So now when it comes to meals, there weren't really any meals. So you were supplied a bowl, and if you lost that bowl, then you weren't gonna get any soup. But when it comes to the soup line, often the amount of soup or the nutrition from the soup that you would get would come to in your place in line. So if you're in the front of the line, you most of the time only get water. But if you're in the back of the line, you might not get any soup at all. So the key was to be in the middle of the line to get some nutrition out of the soup, and hopefully you knew someone that was manning the ladle so that they would dig down deep and maybe give you a carrot or a potato.
So now we're in the barracks where people slept. So originally, these barracks were actually horse stables meant for the German army's horses, and apparently they're supposed to fit like 51 of them. But instead, they filled them with people, and you could fit 400 people in a barrack this size.
And apparently there were 6 people per bunk at maximum capacity. So you were laid feet first this way, then the head, then the feet, then the head, then the feet, until you hit 6 people in a bunk. And the reason they put them so close together was because apparently you could stay warmer that way. So in the cold winters, the people would stay close together, and you would know if someone next to you wasn't there anymore because it would be cold. This thing in the middle was a heater, but these walls are made of wood. So now we have made it to the building that has the bathroom. That's what we like to call it, but here it's not sanitary enough to really be a bathroom. It's basically just a wall of bricks with a concrete slab on top that has holes in it, and that's where you would go to the bathroom. However, they didn't have enough toilets for the amount of people that were here, so there'd be like 8,000 people spread amongst 4 of these buildings all at the same time. Everyone has to go to the bathroom probably at the same time in the morning, and so sometimes these holes would be shared by 2 people, and if they'd miss, then people had to clean it up. The documentary that I watched, the lady that made it out of the camp actually worked in the toilets, and that was one of the better jobs to have because you'd be inside, there'd be a lot of people, it would be warmer during the Polish winters, and so she had to clean up poop at the age of 16, which wasn't a good job, but that meant that she would be warm, and that probably helped her survive. Okay, so there were some stories of hope in Auschwitz. The building behind me is crematorium number 4, and the people that worked in it clearing the bodies of the dead said they'd had enough. They'd seen enough of all the Jews dying. So they decided that they were going to go into the building, burn it down, and they successfully did that. However, Those people plus 300 people, making a total of 450 people, were executed because of this. However, they had one less crematorium. Okay, so behind me is crematorium number 5, and the road we're walking on is the road they would take the barrels of ashes to dump into the lake we're about to show you. The reason they dumped them into the lake is so that they wouldn't fly everywhere because the water would make them dirty. The gas chambers are one thing, but this pond behind me is another. It's just remarkable to be in a place where thousands of people's ashes are. Thank you guys for watching this video of Auschwitz.
It's been a hard day, but a good day. We learned a lot about the history, what happened here. It's interesting just to like see it firsthand.
I don't think you really get it until you see it firsthand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So although it has been a hard day, it's still been a good day.
Very historical.